Hello everybody, welcome to the Technical Analysis webinar. My name is Troy. I'll be leading the session this evening. As we get going, let's do a quick systems check. If you would, just type OK in the chat box if you're hearing me clearly and seeing my screen all right. All right, great. I've got enough responses. Thank you very much. If anyone has any issues as we go along, just let me know. I'm happy to make adjustments as needed. As we get going, keep in mind, as always, all investments have risk. I think we all understand that. No one trade is guaranteed to bring profits. So with that in mind, you obviously want to manage risk in a way that makes sense for you, whether you're using stop loss settings or hedge positions may be set up in the opposite direction as pending buy stops or pending sell stops to cover risk if things go bad on a move. And also we have a unique feature specific to AvaTrade, the AvaProtect feature, which you find on the WebTrader platform and the AvaTrade Go mobile app. So AvaProtect allows you to protect against losses for defined time periods for small premium costs. So that's another way you can manage risk as well in circumstances that might make sense to do so. Now, with the risk in mind, we obviously understand that with each and every trade, there is the potential for nice profits, which is obviously why we're all here. So as we go through some strategies and concepts within the webinar, keep in mind that it's from an educational perspective and not to be taken as financial advisement. But obviously, we're going to go after those potential profits that are there with each and every trade that you make. Now, what is technical analysis? Real quick, it's looking at the historical movements of the instrument, looking at the price movements on usually what we call candlestick charts. There are other types of charts, but the go-to chart type for traders is typically candlestick charts. Anyone who's new to trading, by the way, if you're brand new, maybe you're only on a demo account even, I know some of you haven't even opened live accounts, and also those of you that are experienced. Stick with us. We're going to be going over some ideas and concepts that I think are useful for everybody, whether you're right at the beginning or a seasoned trader. Now, when we talk about different ways of doing technical analysis, we could talk about manual methods of technical analysis, which is what we rely on most heavily in the webinars. That's drawing your own price levels, support and resistance, trend lines, etc., to identify patterns and to identify preferred entry and exit points for each trade that you make. Now, there are indicators that can help you with that. It's another way of doing technical analysis, whether you're using Bollinger Bands or RSI or any number of the different indicators that are out there that help you decide when you think something is maybe overbought or oversold. So there are a number of indicators that can help solidify your idea of when to get into or out of trades. As we go along, keep in mind, you can give input, you can ask questions at any time. I'm happy to divert course, at least temporarily anyways, to repeat something or to cover a topic that someone is interested in discussing or sharing with somebody. So chime in whenever you see fit in the chat box. Now, as we take a look at things, I wanted to show you real quick, the different trading platforms that we have are found on our main website. And I mentioned the AvaTrade Go mobile app, that's found here. And you can download it in whichever app store fits your mobile devices. And all of the features that are on it are also on our WebTrader. So because we talked a little bit about risk management, I want to show you the risk management features before we get into our technical analysis so that you have all of the tools at your disposal. Some of you who've even been with us for a long time maybe aren't aware that we've added the WebTrader platform. And if you don't see it when you log in from our main website, then ask for it to be applied to your account, because mostly only the newer accounts have picked up the WebTrader platform because it's been enacted in the past, say, less than a year. So When you log in here, you'll see this platform, or if you don't, ask your account manager to add it. And so from this platform and from the AvaTrade Go mobile app, let me show you some important features. So if we're trading on an asset that offers it, you'll see Ava Protect. Gold, silver, FX pairings have the Ava Protect feature available. And if you're on a demo, it won't function. You need to be on a live account to utilize it. And so if let's say I'm trading on gold, and maybe I think, gold's pulled back a bit recently. So by recently, I mean like in the past hour. And so if I think, okay, gold's due to rise back up maybe, and we'll talk about why is gold pulled back. It's this whole stimulus deal in the US and the bickering that's going on about it. But we'll talk about the fundamentals in a second. But just to show you the features here, if I'm buying on gold, let's say, and I want, I don't know, 10 ounces. So, I might say my take profit, I want to take profit maybe at 1900. Okay, a scalp type move. And maybe I want my stop loss, I don't know, maybe $10 down. So if the price is at, where's the price right now? We're looking at 1878 or so. So maybe I say I want my stop loss at 1868. Let me get on the right side of the decimal. There we are. Okay, so real quick, I can see, okay, based on my trade size, here's my risk. Possible loss, it calculates it for me into my account currency. So whether I had euros or pounds or whatever it might be, it calculates the risk into your account currency. And I can see real quick, wow, that's like a 5% risk on my account. And the potential gain over 10%. Okay, I've got about 2,000 in equity here in the account and over 200 possible profits. So better than 2-to-1 profit to risk ratio, risking about 5% of my balance and potential profit over 10%. Maybe I like that. Maybe I say I want to take that trade, or maybe I want to adjust it. Maybe I don't like 5% risk, so I lower to, I don't know, 8 ounces, and now I'm below that risk, only risking 81 or 70. As I change the trade size, my potential profit and risk changes. The other option I would have, instead of a stop loss, I could do Ava Protect. Protect for, I don't know, 1 hour, 1 day, 2 days. Okay, I could make a heck of a lot more than $70 in 2 days on a buy position on gold. Gold's been moving $50 in a day easy. So if I have 7 ounces and it moves $50, that's $350 potential profit. Maybe I put my take profit rather than at 1900, maybe I put it at 1925. And because I have 2 days of protection, maybe I want to see if it'll rise higher in the 2 days. And so then I take a buy position. There we are. So my trade is set just as a simulation. And what we see is it's protected with Ava Protect. So no matter how much loss I have in those 2 days, when the covered time period ends, I get all of the loss added back if it went the wrong way. If it goes the right way and hits my take profit, all the profits are mine. I just have that small premium that I paid up front when I opened the trade. So it's a very nice feature. If you want to look at what's happening with your trade, you click on the eye. Here it shows you what's happening. Shows me when my coverage expires, Ava Protect expiration to the exact time. Okay, 1,700 hours on the 31st. So maybe I like that. I can let it run and see what happens, and I know what my risk is for those 2 days. Now I need to remember after the coverage period ends, maybe I need to come back and put a stop loss, right? Because I didn't put one, or I could put one now. Could have a stop loss at the same time as the protection. Okay, so if we're talking about technical analysis in this webinar, let's have a look and see on the live accounts, Trading Central is active with all of these features. If you're on a demo, you only have the economic calendar. On the live accounts, you have signals, and Market Pause is great fundamental news. We'll take a look at the analyst views. These are live signals based on current movements, up to date, up to the time current movements. We see expected breakout move USD Canadian down. USD Swiss franc down, GBP USD up. Okay, it shows you the entry prices. If it breaks through this level, it's expected to keep rising. Obviously, a buy stop pending order up here at the price level they suggest. If it breaks through, they expect it to run to the next resistance. So these are signals for pending orders, for market moves. You take a look. They're showing their preference here. Long positions, what price targets, what entries, exits. Everything's here for you with the signals. These are free. Usually you have to pay for signals. So the technical analysis, you can see is outlined for you. And so since this is a technical analysis webinar, I want to make sure you understand that's there for you. And you can compare it to your own technical analysis as well. And as you look at Trading Central, you'll see other features. Market Buzz gives you the fundamental news. So, you know, right now you see what's trending the most are the largest bubbles. I can click on it and say, okay, Cellular Holdings Incorporated, that's on our MT5 platform. If you click on it, there's the articles. Okay, you can click on it, you can expand the article and see what's going on with that company. Okay, there's the news. So very cool features on the web trader for managing risk. If you're doing a buy stop, as I suggested on that one signal, as it was suggesting, I should say, easy to do buy stops. Let's say buy position, execute when price hits, you put the price, that's it, click buy, and if it hits that price, it buys. You don't have to tell it buy stop or buy limit like you do on the MT4 platform. It's more technical. You have to know what kind of pending order. Very simple on the web trader and AvaTrade Go. Pick the direction you want, the price you want. That's it. If it hits the price, it buys or sells at the order that you created at the price you asked for. So very simple with pending orders as well. What's happening in the news today? We see everything turned red. Okay. And it's funny because the headlines still say Dow at record levels, optimism on vaccine, and on the stimulus. There was positive momentum. Everything was green all day until about an hour and a half ago. Okay, and we'll take a look at how everything swung. Huge opportunities for our technical analysis now. European stocks extend year-end rally on Brexit deal boost. That was true an hour and a half ago. Not true now. We'll take a look. And that's pretty much it. Those are the two driving stories. Brexit deal looking good. US additional stimulus deal looking like a lot of headbutting and fighting right now. So that's got the market spooked. Volatility index went way up. It was down all day and now it's up. And US dollar was really weak today. It was down over 0.5%, even 0.6%, and now it's recovered some. So dollar strengthening back with the fear on the market. Okay, so let's then take a look what's happening on the charts. So we see gold pulling back as the US dollar strengthens. Gold is pulled back. That might give you an opportunity because if they do pass the stimulus deal, that weakens the USD, which is inflation, right? If they're printing trillions of US dollars, that weakens the USD, inflation spooks investors, and up goes gold, right? So let's say I want to buy on gold right now. So, okay, new order, buy on gold. Okay, there we go. So opportunistic, technically speaking, why would I buy on gold? Okay, let's look at the technical analysis. Opportunistic pullback, right? We see the pullback, and then we see a little bit of a support form here on 5-minute candles. Tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Okay, so it's a bit of a support level that's been tested. This is more of a scalp, right? We're not looking at 1-day candles here. We're looking at 5-minute. So if gold can bounce back up to the first resistance level here, okay, resistance down, breakthrough up, breakthrough becomes resistance again here. So this is a nice little scalp move. So I could put a stop loss down here, okay, right there, just below the support. And I can put a take profit at the first resistance level up here. Okay, and if you didn't know that that feature worked like that, once I opened the trade, all I had to do was click on the entry price and drag down, and it created a red line for my stop loss. Click on the entry price, drag up, and it created a line for my take profit. So there it is programmed. I didn't have to manually enter it. So we're looking for a bounce up here. Why is it a scalp move and not a long-term move right now? Because who knows what's going to happen in the next hour with these negotiations in the US, right? Now, if you're in for a longer move, I know a lot of folks are buying on gold through the end of January. Okay, that has nothing to do with these short scalps. Buying or selling right now, as you see these little movements. So one type of trading long term that can be based on a seasonal type of trend, which is what a lot of folks are doing now with gold. And these short technical analysis moves, bouncing off of a support level, taking profit before the resistance, this is what we might call scalping, okay? And so we understand, why did gold pull down? US dollar strengthened because of some fear that hit the market about, is this stimulus deal going to be passed or not in the US? Why should gold bounce back up, fundamentally speaking? Because eventually they're probably going to extend more stimulus. And if anyone starts to feel that that might pass, we see gold bounce back up quite easily. But right now, this is a technical move off of a little support level, very little risk to the bottom to get below this support level, and more profit than risk here in this move. So real quick, simple scalp. If we look at the bigger picture on gold, 4-hour candles, it's been trending up and down, up and down, up and down through the day. It just has a hard time finding direction, and that's because it's waiting on this big deal in the US, whether it's going to be passed or not. If we take a look at the European indices, let's look maybe at the DAX. This is interesting what happened today. So the DAX, if we look at 1-hour candles, gapped up today a bit here, climbed, and then plunged. Okay, and this was actually coming out of the weekend. No, this was yesterday into today. It gapped up, and so we see from the 28th to the 29th a gap, climb, and a pullback. So if we then start looking for opportunistic moves on these indices, I see a support level here. Okay, you see this was resistance, 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 tried to break through, maintained resistance, and down it went, okay, on the 1-hour candles. Then we see it breaks above that resistance here, okay? This was the breakthrough candle, and now we see a pullback right at that resistance level, which should be support now, okay? And so with the Brexit deal coming through, it looks like, why shouldn't this support level hold, and why not take a shot to buy on the DAX, right? So if we're buying on the DAX, and obviously I'm not telling you should buy on the DAX, but we're looking at the technical analysis, pairing it with the fundamentals, and if you like the idea, then it makes sense, right? So here's the support level. It's not a clear-cut one price. It's a gray area here with all these wicks. That's the support level. It was the old resistance, and now we're above it, okay? So where do I put my stop loss? Maybe down here. 13,640 maybe. So let me drag this down wherever I think I'm below the support level, which maybe is right about there, below that wick that it hit. And then where do I want my take profit? Maybe up at today's high. Maybe it recovers back to the high before it breaks that support. Or maybe I say, you know what? Let's go down to the bottom of this gap. Okay, old gaps tend to act as support and resistance. So now that it broke below the bottom of this gap here, that becomes resistance as this comes back up. Okay, so if you're scalping, shorter term move, your first resistance is right here. Technically speaking, that's a spot for a scalper to take profit before it has a chance to bounce down off this resistance level here. Okay, so there's a spot where you might look to take profit. Looks like gold's trying to bounce up for us. We'll see how that goes. And we'll also see what happens with this indice. Any questions at this point? If anybody has questions, now could be a good time to ask. Okay, I'll keep on rolling. There is a question here I think I missed. Is protection only for gold and silver? Good question, Peter. The AvaProtect that we were looking at is for gold, silver, and all FX pairings. Okay, so gold, silver, and FX pairings. For now, that's what it's offered on. Is it possible in the future it could be offered on something more? The answer is yes. I think that's in the works. But for now, it's gold, silver, and FX pairings. It's only offered on those things traded on what we call spot. Okay, spot prices. Those assets that are traded on futures contracts are not available through the AvaProtect. Okay, for that protection, as for now, anyways. Okay, so let's move on. And if anyone has a request for an asset to look at, I'm happy to do that. Maybe we'll look at another European indice. Let's look at the FTSE. Looks like a big gap up here today. Okay, look at that gap. Makes sense with the Brexit deal, the excitement. Big gap up here on the 1 hour candles, and it almost pulled all the way back down. This is a major, major support level right here. Okay, the top of a gap becomes support when it's above it. Look at the opportunistic pullback. So again, we can say, technically speaking, this is a strategy that makes sense. Trading up in a situation where you've got a support level just below after a positive momentum gap, a pullback towards that open price. Looks like a spot where you wouldn't have to risk much to get below the bottom, the top of this gap. That should be support. If it breaks into the gap, it could fill the entire gap. Okay, that is a strategy as well to trade the gap. But we're looking with it above the gap that this would be support right here. And so 65, if I want a stop loss, I'd probably put it right down here. If it breaks into the gap, I'm done with my buy position. Okay, that means, hey, something went wrong. So if it tests the support level, fine. If it breaks into the gap, I'm out, right? That's the strategy to get below that support level. Where would my take profit be? Before the resistance up here, towards the high that it reached, okay? And that might take a little while to get up that high, if it's going to get up that high, right? No guarantee. So that's something to keep an eye on, are these indices being affected by the Brexit situation. Could really work out for some traders on that. Any questions at this point? To look at, are you talking about no, AZN? What's AZN? Usman, what's AZN? Expand on that. Obviously, it's a specific stock. I'm guessing it's probably on our MT5 platform, that stock, and I'm on the MT4 right now, so I won't be able to pull that up if it's something that's on the MT5. Okay, let's take a quick look at maybe a US indice, and we'll see that the marketplace truly is global, because just as we see the FTSE gapped up, climbed to an all-time or to a high anyways, and then pulled back, we can look at the NASDAQ and say it did the same thing. NASDAQ climbed to an all-time high, pulled back just like the FTSE, and now what are we looking at? Potentially a further climb if there's any optimism about that stimulus deal being expanded in Washington, D.C. So you've got an opportunity for a potential move back up to the resistance here. No guarantee it could pull down, right? That's why you use a stop loss, but technically speaking, that's an uptrend that had a pullback. Okay, we understand why the pullback was there. There's some fear that that trade deal might not happen right away. So You could wait and see it with a pending order if this pulls down to the support. Okay, there's a support level here, it hit and went up, hit and went up. What kind of pending order would buy from down here if you wanted to do that from this price? If you say, okay, if it pulls back down to this support level, then I'll buy. What kind of pending order would buy from a lower point if you wanted to buy from down here, assuming it pulls back down? Yeah, that would be a buy limit, buying from a lower point. Remember, with the web trader, you don't have to choose buy limit. You can just say buy from this price, and you'd enter the price. With the MT4, I'll demonstrate for you. Here's the NASDAQ. If I want to buy from a lower price, then I need to choose pending order. And then I need to know out of these 4 types of pending orders, buying from a lower price is the buy limit. And then I would program my price, maybe 12,820. If that's where I want to buy from. And then there's my pending order. If it drops, I buy. Okay. And if it just keeps climbing, then probably so too will the DAX and the FTSE, and I'll already be in profits on that. If the DAX and FTSE pull back further, then I get a better entry price on my NASDAQ. So it's a little bit of a strategy to have a re-entry, but on a different asset. If the others pull back, likely this one would too. So just diversifying a bit across different assets, but with the same concept, trying to take advantage of the pullback from a support level. This one's already up off the support level, so maybe I let it run. If it pulls back, then I maybe get in. Okay. And someone's asking for the Dow Jones, the US 30. It looks very similar. This one is just starting to bounce, it looks like. Maybe it's a little better entry point off this support level here. So you could say, okay, that one's in a better spot. Maybe I buy market position off that. You see this old resistance here, resistance down, resistance down, resistance down, and then finally it breaks through right here. This week, support, 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 big run up today, pull back, and it respects the support right here, the old resistance. So very easy to put my stop loss below the support. If it breaks the support, I'm out. And my take profit somewhere near today's high, maybe up here at this little resistance level. You see this was a temporary resistance. It hit here and dropped. So that might be a spot where, as if this recovers up, that might be a spot where it would first hesitate. So a scalper's looking for that first level of resistance to take a profit. And so that would be a spot to take a quick profit if it pushes back up. Okay. And so far, the moves that we've opened certainly aren't flying the wrong way, right? They're trending in the right direction, barely moved much at all, but we'll see. Looks like the support levels we found seem to be holding for the time being. That could change, obviously, which is why we've got our stop loss, take profits. What kind of pending order could I put down here in case the market plunges further? Because we should be ready for that as well. What kind of pending order, if it breaks my support, hits my stop loss down here, if I want to sell from this price here, if it breaks the support, what kind of pending order sells from the lower point? Again, on the web trader and AvaTrade Go, all you'd have to do is tell it sell from and put the price. And you don't have to know what kind of pending order it is. But if I'm using the MT4, I'm saying sell from a lower price. That has to be a sell stop, not a sell limit. Sell stop sells from a lower price. And I could say if it hits 30,095, sell, right? I put one too many zeros, got a little excited. Okay, whoops, I did something wrong. Sell stop, correct. I put about 900 points too much. There we are. Okay, so there's my pending order just below this red line that I put. And now I could put a stop loss for the pending order up here. No, I don't want to change my entry price. let me get rid of this line. There we are. Now we can see the price better. And so I can adjust my price. If I don't like where the support level is after I look at it on the chart, I can move it. And where would it make sense to put my stop loss? Some of you had that wrong, sell limit. Sell limit would sell from a higher point. So and some of you had it correct, sell stop. And that demonstrates my point of if we're on the web trader, let me just show you real quick. I don't mean to have an advertisement for the web trader, but it's important to be able to place your trades properly. If I'm here on whatever asset, let's say DAX, whatever instrument, let's say it's DAX 30, and I want to sell from a lower point, all I have to do is put execute when price hits, hit the price, put the price, and that's it. I didn't have to know whether it was a sell limit or a sell stop. I could have just put the price and boom, pending order is prepared. Execute when price hits without saying sell stop or sell limit. So it simplifies it and it speeds it up. Even for seasoned traders, it's nice to be able to do things faster, even if you know what they are. Yeah, stop loss just above the support level, right? So if it does break this support and triggers my sell, then I'm assuming, wow, they must not have had a deal on this stimulus negotiation. Maybe things went bad. So if it breaks the support and hits the stop loss on my buy, the same reason I'm getting out of the buy is the same reason I should sell. It broke the support, showing downward momentum. So I've got my sell stop down here. My stop loss then should probably go back above that price. Okay, so if my sell stop initiates, then maybe I want my stop loss up here at 30,000, maybe 225. Okay, so now I've got my stop loss back above that if the sell hits. Now, if this climbs, if our scalp on the buy climbs up and hits our take profit, great, then the sell position never opened. No problem. So in this example, we're trying to be right with our first move, but we're understanding with these strategies that we might not be right on our first move, and we're backing that up with a pending order that, hey, in a moment, we can change our direction of trading based on the technical movement. Broken support level, many times, those broken supports keep moving. Look what happened back here. Look at this one. When it broke this same price level here, look at the plunge. There's no reason why if it breaks the support, the same thing couldn't happen. So your take profit could be somewhere down at this price level, or if you're looking for a more patient take profit, we could slide this down to the next support level down here. Look at the potential profit compared to the risk if this triggers as a sell stop. Okay, so if we're right on one of these two, we're profiting more than we lost. Okay, and look at the history. We see the technical analysis. It breaks through sometimes and you get this huge plunge, right? Or you get a moderate plunge. Either way, you can take a nice profit. Okay, so very easy, especially with big news brewing. It's very easy to take advantage of these bounces off of the support levels or breakthroughs of support or resistance levels as well. Okay, I think this is a good spot to pause. Does anyone have any questions or assets you would like to look at? Instruments that you like to trade on that you'd like to take a closer look? Euro USD could be interesting. What do you think happens to the value of the USD if they pass this deal in Washington, D.C.? More stimulus means weakening the currency typically. And why should the euro have reason to strengthen? It did earlier today because of the Brexit deal, right? So we've got some fundamental reasons why we might look at this downtrend on the euro as an opportunity. You might say, well, I think they're going to get a deal eventually, right? Maybe I say, I like the idea of with the Brexit deal passing, the euro gaining on the USD. We've had a nice pullback. we see a support level formed here. Okay, these are 1 hour candles. It tested once and bounced, tested twice, bounced back up, tested a third time and bounced, tested a fourth time and bounced up again. Okay, so I'm sold on the scalp. I'll put my stop loss just below that support. I don't have to risk much. I'll put my take profit up here somewhere just below this resistance at the high point today. So maybe the take profit goes about there. Double the potential profit compared to risk. Fundamental news is on my side with the euro strengthening with Brexit today before the pullback. So, hey, that deal is still looking good for the European Union and the UK. So there's still reason for the euro to strengthen. And I think most neutral observers think that eventually this additional stimulus is going to get passed out of the US government after all their bickering and butting heads. And so there's some fundamental reason why the euro might gain against the USD here. If it breaks the support, fine. It's a limited risk. We don't have to be right on everything that we do. We just want to profit in the end, right? And so this is the way we can go after limited risk for a potential profit, larger potential profit than risk. And the technicals are on our side here with the entry and exit points. USD Canadian was requested along with Tesla. So let's take a look at USD Canadian and Tesla. I see Tesla here, so let's pull it up. Tesla seems to have reached a resistance right there. Okay, resistance down, resistance down. Maybe as a hedge to any buy positions on the indices, you could say the technical analysis looks like Tesla ran out of steam. So you could say, if I sell on Tesla, I'm putting my stop loss above these high marks here, double reversal. So that's a established resistance level. And so maybe at 690 could be a stop loss. Okay, just above that resistance. If it breaks to a high for the day, then okay, that's a new uptrend. You give up, right? Potentially. And then support level, it was just down here not that long ago. Okay. And so there's a support level that if the market pulls back, you could take profit. About 2 to 1 potential profit to risk. Again, that's a nice little hedge on if you were going long on some of these indices to bounce back up, a nice little hedge if Tesla wants to pull down to that support level. Yeah, it's always nice to combine fundamentals, Usman. And yeah, I typically start with the fundamentals like we did. The fundamentals today, though, are complete polar opposites with different stories. Great news about Brexit deal, fear and anxiety about whether there's going to be further stimulus out of the US. So those stories fundamentally are butting heads right now, causing a pullback in the market, which actually gives some great opportunities. So that's what we're looking at now, is the technical analysis of these potential bounces and breakthroughs that we're seeing on the charts. So that's Tesla there in a nutshell. And we can take a quick look at USD Canadian, and I think we'll call it a session there. So you all have some time to go after some of these movements, to do some trading on your own. Now, I see a resistance level. When we look at the 5-minute candles, I see resistance here. Resistance down, resistance down, resistance down. Oil was pushing down a bit with the fear that hit the market a bit ago. So this resistance level, maybe you trust it right now. USD Canadian, if I'm going to take a shot at a scalp, maybe I say, okay, let me take a shot. Stop loss above this resistance, 1.2822 gets me above. Okay. there's a reasonable resistance level. If it breaks through, maybe you give up on it, and take profit could be any number of spots depending on your patience. I can take a profit at the first support level here. I can take a profit, potential profit, down at the low that it hit, just above it. And so let me pull this up. Okay, so potential profit down here, take profit just above this little support level down here. If I want to draw a line, this area here is a little level of support where it hit, went up, hit again, went up. So if it's going to pull down, you might take your profit if you're scalping before this little support level down here. So we've got some different positions here acting as hedges to each other. This would drop if the USD re-weakens. Okay, if the Canadian decides to strengthen, we've got this as a potential take profit down here. We've got a sell on Tesla and a buy on the Dow Jones, and a potential buy if the NASDAQ pulls down some. So some natural hedges going on where if one wins, the other might lose and vice versa. But the potential profits being larger than the risk in many cases. So in the end, with this type of setup, 50% accuracy is going to bring you a decent profit. Any questions before we call it quits here this evening? Yeah, Usman, before doing longer trades, next day, next week, where I'm looking to hang on to things longer, I'm looking at larger fundamental trends as well. And we'd be looking at 1-day candles, 1-week candles, that sort of thing. So it would be a bit of a different technical approach than what you saw here on the 5-minute candles, 15-minute candles, 1-hour candles. I don't think we even looked at 4-hour or 1-day candles in the whole session. So this was more of a scalping technical analysis type session to try and take advantage of the large movements that have been occurring today in pretty short periods of time. And the objective I always talk about is if I can make 1% profit on my account with these types of moves, 1% per day, win 2 out of 3 trades, or 2 out of 4 where my take profits are longer than my stop losses, then maybe I can get 1% average per day, which works out to be like 20% profit per month then, if that's your average. And that's a great return, honestly. 10 to 20% return in a month. If you can do that consistently, would be great. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your attendance, and good luck with any moves you make through the rest of the day. I think you're going to see some pretty large bounces and potential breakthroughs. So setting up with some pending orders for the breakthroughs, going after some market moves as well, I think makes sense right now. All right, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you for joining.